Crusader Kings II is a grand strategy game set in the High and Late Middle Ages developed by Paradox Development Studio and published by Paradox Interactive as a sequel to Crusader Kings. It was released for Microsoft Windows on February 14, 2012, to positive reviews. A Mac OS X version, Paradox Interactive's first in-house development for Mac OS X, was released on May 24, 2012. A Linux version was released on January 14, 2013. The game contains numerous historical figures such as William the Conqueror, Harald Godwinson, Harald Hardrada, Robert Guiscard, El Cid, Constantine X Doukas, Alexios I Komnenos, Ragnar Lodbrok, Alfred the Great, and Saladin. The latest patches, as of June 30, 2014, version 2.1.6. Gameplay. The game is a dynasty simulator where the player controls a medieval dynasty from 1066 to 1453, though the DLC The Old Gods allows for a start date of 867. Through the strategic use of war, marriages and assassinations among many other things, the player works to achieve success for his or her dynasty. The simulation is open-ended, so the definition of success is completely defined by the player. The only endgame objective is to obtain as many prestige points as possible in order to surpass the various historically relevant Christian dynasties in a fictional prestige ranking. The game ends when the player's current character dies without an heir of the same dynasty to succeed him/her. The game employs a genetics and education system where children will inherit many traits, culture, religion and skills from their parents and guardian. This adds an additional layer of strategy to marriages, such that a player will attempt not only to form beneficial alliances, but also to select marriage partners with strong heritable traits to maximize the quality of offspring and thus strengthen the dynasty. This requires balancing sometimes conflicting interests. For instance, a beneficial marriage to a prestigious family may provide a strong alliance but carry the negative consequence that some less prestigious courtiers or commoners who provide no meaningful alliance may otherwise have excellent traits, with the player missing the opportunity to incorporate those into their family. While a player can choose almost any landed noble to play, there are some which are unplayable without the use of mods, notably, theocracies and landed holy orders mercenaries. Muslims, pagans and republics are playable with the Sword of Islam, the Old Gods and the Republic DLC respectively. There are 5 levels of authority in the game. The 4 highest of which are playable at the start: Emperor, Kaiser, Basileus, Samrat, Shahanshah, Padishah, Kagan and Zara. Originally the Muslim Caliph title was Emperor level, but was downgraded in the 1.06 patch to Duke level for the Sunni and Shia caliphates. King, Shah, Despot, Sultan, Serene Doge, King Bishop, Khan, Prince Mayor. The title King is equivalent to the title Archduke if the holder bends the knee to an emperor or person of equivalent title. Duke, Du, Satrap, Emir, Doge, Grand Prince, High Chief, Prince Archbishop, Grand Mayor, Jel, Petty King, Caliph. The second lowest rank is that of the counter variations are Earl, Sheik, Wasentli, Martzban, Chief, Lord Mayor, Prince Bishop, Metropolitan. The lowest in-game rank of authority is that of the Barony. Variations are Temeriate, Shaman, Mayor, Bishop, Patrician. Of which only Patrician is a playable rank if the player owns the Republic DLC, as the government of only a single holding with no non-commoner courtiers to command would provide the player with very few or no opportunities for intrigue. The basic provincial unit of the game is the county. Each county contains a preset number of holdings, with the maximum being 7 holdings in a single county, including the comital capital. The holdings can be of 3 types: castle, city or temple holding. A castle is ruled by a baron, a city is ruled by a mayor, and a temple is ruled by a bishop. Generally, a county has a capital set and a barony, but some counties have city or temples set as the capital. As the player incorporates a lay nobleman, it can only exert control adequate over counties with castles as capitals, or he'll suffer the wrong holding type penalty in revenue. Thus, city and temple holdings must be given to mayors and bishops. Exceptionally, Muslim rulers can control mosques, which grant piety points. If the player owns the Republic DLC, the player can also take control of a coastal republic, like Venice, Genoa, the Hansa, Gotland or Shizen. In this case city holdings, instead of baronies, can be held without penalty. The collection of holdings controlled by one character is called a demesne. The demesne is limited for each character. If the character has holdings above the limit of his demesne, not only will he or she incur revenue penalties, but the character's vassals will also be displeased. Thus, the game forces players to give his overflow land to vassals, forming the basic principles of feudalism. The council: each ruler has a council of 5 members, which perform specific functions. There is the chancellor, which handles diplomacy and has the ability of fabricating claims for their liege upon counties and duchies held by other characters. The marshal is the overall commander of the liege's military forces in the battlefield, and during peacetime can train troops, suppress revolts and help research military technology. The steward can collect taxes, oversee the construction of new buildings and help research economy technology. The spy master can discover plots, steal technologies from foreign peoples and build spy networks to help in assassinations. Finally, the court chaplain can be placed in a county to convert its populace to the leader's religion, and improve diplomatic relations with religious heads such as the Pope or help research culture technology. Realm laws: there are 2 kinds of laws in the game, the tax and levy laws Euro, which determine the taxes your vassals must pay, and also the number of levies they must provide Euro, and the succession laws Euro, which can be of 2 types, gender and inheritance laws. Succession laws are of fundamental gameplay importance, as the game ends if the player is unable to establish a dynastic heir. As a rule, succession is patrilineal, which means marriage offsprings will always be from the father's dynasty, but there is the option of matrilineal marriages for female characters, which means the offspring will be from the mother's lineage. Gender laws are the following: Arnatica Euro only males inherit, Arnatica Fnatica Euro females can inherit, but only if there are no eligible male heirs. Absolute Fnatica Euro women inherit on the same grounds as men do. However, although Paradox added Anatic and Anatic Fnatic succession in a recent patch, these are only accessible through modifications to the base game. Inheritance laws are Gavekind Euro, the most common law, in which the inheritance is divided among all eligible children, the oldest inheriting the primary title. This succession type allows for a 30% larger demesne. The disadvantage is that it fractures the demesne upon succession. Feudal elective Euro, the heir, elected by vassals holding elector titles, inherits the primary title. This type gives an opinion boost to vassals, but carries the risk of the realm passing outside the player's dynasty, forcing their heirs to become vassals of a new king. Seniority Euro, the oldest dynasty member inherits all titles. The disadvantage is that it usually results in elder characters inheriting, potentially creating a quick succession of short-lived rulerships. Primogeniture Euro, the firstborn child inherits all titles, in-depth first search descent. Arguably the most advantageous inheritance type, but it incurs in a slight prestige penalty for landless progeny. Arnatic open Turkish succession Euro, available to every Muslim character Euro, the son that holds most titles inherits all his father's titles. Patrician elective Euro, the only succession type for merchant republics Euro, the heir is decided upon by a calculation of age, prestige, and a unique campaign fund feature from the 5 patrician families. Only males can inherit. Investiture Euro, only succession law for bishoprics where the successor can be appointed by the ruler if under free investiture or by the pope if under papal investiture. If there is no appointed heir, then the game will choose character from the court of the bishop or create a new character if there is no suitable characters in the bishop's court. Elective open Euro, the only succession type for republics Euro, the game will choose a character from the republic ruler's court or create a new character if there is no suitable characters in the mayor's court. Tanistry Euro, open to Celtic culture group which, like the elective system, allows vassals to choose the heir but restricts the choice to members of the current holder's dynasty. Ultimogeniture Euro, the default succession type for Ilkhanate, the Golden Horde and the Barony of Altenburg, in which the youngest child of the ruler inherits all the ruler's titles upon their death. appointment used by holy orders feudal vassals called commanders. All feudal titles are granted by the Grand Master and revert to him after the holder dies. Papal succession Pope succession law where elected cardinals chose the next pope among themselves. Only used by the pope if the player owns the Sons of Abraham DLC. King and Emperor level characters also have a special set of available laws, the Crown Authority laws, which simulate the power exerted by the monarch over his vassals. For example, with Autonomous Vassals Law, the monarch cannot revoke vassals' titles, and they only provide levies to their liege if they hold him or her in high regard. In Absolute Crown Authority Law, the vassals are entirely forbidden of waging war against each other and foreign enemies and must provide a sizable amount of levies. Military warfare is waged by three types of soldiers: retinue troops, levies, and mercenaries. Levies can be raised freely from the character's own demesne, and from the vassals with an opinion penalty for the time they are raised. The longer the vassal's levies are raised, the lower their opinion gets. Amount of troops depends on the laws of the realm and the opinion of the vassal towards the liege. The 1.07 patch introduced retinues, which can be raised depending on the technological level and size of the realm. Differently from levies, which permanently cost maintenance while raised, retinues only cost money during their creation and while having their losses replenished. When in full numbers, the retinue can function as a costless standing army. Mercenaries are available in specific numbers and with a predefined composition of military classes. The player can hire various historical mercenary companies and also generic mercenary groups for specific cultures. Mercenaries receive a monthly payment while raised. If the ruler is unable to afford their services, they either disband automatically or declare war against the former employer, settling in a province if they conquer it. There are also holy orders available for Catholic rulers, the Templar Knights, the Hospitallers and the Teutonic Knights. The orders can be purchased with piety points as mercenaries. However, they will only fight heretics and non-Christians. While a crusade is in progress or if the character is defending against an infidel in a holy war, the orders cost no maintenance. In the Sons of Abraham DLC, all main branch religions were given at least one holy order and Catholic faith got 2 new ones. These new holy orders are only accessible if you own the Sons of Abraham DLC. Wars cannot be declared freely, but rather demand a casus belli that justifies it. CBs can range from territorial claims, inheritance claims to religious justifications. There is also the invasion CB, which allows a character to wage war to conquer the entirety of the territory possessed by another character, which can only be granted by the Pope or the Orthodox Patriarch. Muslims have a specific invasion CB to invade and conquer the counties of their neighbors, while the Mongols have a free invasion CB to conquer an entire kingdom. The 1.07 patch allowed the Byzantine Empire the Imperial Reconquest CB, which permits them to invade and conquer a duchy that historically belonged to the territory of the Roman Empire. This was later restricted in patch 1.08 to the restored Roman Empire. Intrigue. Inside the Intrigue tab of the game UI, the player can browse various ambitions and plots, and also implement decisions, when certain conditions are met. Ambitions establish determinate conditions for the player that, when concluded, produce specific rewards. Plots involve other characters, and range from assassination plots to liege-vassal relation plots. The 1.07 patch introduced a new plotting feature, which are the factions, coalitions formed by vassals against their liege, with a specific purpose such as lowering crown authority or becoming independent. If the conspiracy is strong enough, the faction will send an ultimatum to the liege with the demands, which, if denied, will result in a civil war. Decisions include the possibility of hosting feasts, summer fairs, great hunts or the grand tournament, which usually serve to improve the liege's relation with the vassals and courtiers. Muslims have specific decisions, such as undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca, while the Byzantine Emperor also has a particular set of decisions, like the possibility of healing the Great Schism and restoring the Roman Empire. The later DLCs have all added new decisions that become available when your character has certain religion, culture or trait. Religion. Each religion has an amount of moral authority. The lower the moral authority, the higher are the chances of heresies appearing and expanding. Larger religions have specific heresies. The moral authority is affected by various factors, including the number of holy sites held, the piety of the religious head and the outcomes of holy wars. The larger religions also have a religious head. The Pope is independent and starts as an independent king-level ruler, but can become a vassal of any emperor if the emperor installs their own anti-pope in Rome. The Orthodox Patriarch is by default a vassal of the Byzantine emperor. Few religion heresies are able to create their own religious heads in certain situations after Sons of Abraham DLC. Zoroastrians and Jews start without religious head, but they can later appear in game if certain criteria are fulfilled. In this game, pagan is an umbrella term that includes the remnants of Norse paganism, the Baltic pagans, the Finnish paganism which extends to northwestern Russia, the steppe peoples' Tengriism, West African paganism and Slavic paganism. Following the release of the old gods, each pagan religion has the ability to reform itself, granting it a religious head, improved resistance to conversion by Christian and Islamic rulers, and the ability to wage holy wars. Aztec religion also falls under this if the player owns the Sunset Invasion DLC, which enables events that launch a fantasy scenario where Aztecs invade Western Europe. Holy wars are a fundamental feature in this game. There is a generic holy war casus belli against opposing religions for every character that belongs to an organized faith, which targets a single de jure duchy. The Pope, the Sunni Shia caliphs, Zoroastrian Mobadan Muabbad, Jewish Kohen Gadol and if reformed, all the heads of the pagan religions, can call, respectively, crusades, jihads and great holy wars against infidels. These are larger wars which target entire de jure kingdoms. Characters which join any of these larger holy wars are granted contribution points in the joint war effort. Unless the crown in question is already possessed by a character of the Crusaders' religion or the title has living claimants of that religion alive, the character which obtains the largest contribution percentage if the crusade jihad is won conquers the de jure kingdom for himself. Wars against heretics can only be called by members of the mother religion. Expansions and DLC. As with Paradox's most recent games, Crusader Kings II is updated through patches, with packs of extra features being released as DLC available through Steam or the in-game store which is connected to Gamersgate. Content that has been released varies from music, unit and portrait packs to a ruler designer, that allows the player to design their own character with his or her very own dynasty. Sword of Islam. On May 29, 2012, Paradox revealed the first expansion for the game, Crusader Kings II, Sword of Islam. It was released on June 26, 2012. It allowed the player to play as a Muslim ruler and introduced a series of new features. The plethora of changes included a stylized HUD screen for Muslim players, and various specific events like the possibility of undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca, but also new mechanics, such as polygamy and a reworked invasion CB. Perhaps the most notable new feature introduced was Decadence, which simulates the rise and fall of dynasties in the Muslim world. The decadence amount increase is proportionate to the number of landless dynasty members. In short term, it incurs in effects such as lowering the morale of the realm's armies, but if it gets too high it'll result in the appearance of a warlord commanding a horde of desert warriors, which will war to topple the decadent dynasty and install itself as the ruling one. Thus, dynasty micromanagement becomes an even more pressing concern to Islamic rulers, especially as the dynasty grows large. The 1.06 patch expanded the original map to include provinces in West Africa and Muslim Manda copyright dynasties. Legacy of Rome. On August 28, 2012, Crusader Kings II, Legacy of Rome was announced as the next expansion for Crusader Kings II. It was released on October 16, 2012. Legacy of Rome largely focused on improvements to the Byzantine Empire and Orthodox Church among other announced improvements. The biggest introduction this DLC brings is the introduction of retinues, a fourth type of military unit, now existing aside from levies, mercenaries and special event troops. Retinues are standing, professional armies that are composed of trained soldiers and as such much more efficient and professed than ordinary levies. However, they are quite expensive to build and are trained up slowly. They can also replenish. Some changes were implemented to all Orthodox rulers, such as reskinned council members in the map mode and autocephalous patriarchs who replaced the standard court chaplain, while some were specific to the Byzantine culture group characters, such as the possibility of blinding and castrating prisoners. A new set of events and decisions were created specifically to the Byzantine emperor, the most notable ones being the option to attempt to heal the Great Schism and restore the Roman Empire. In-game, implementing the decision of healing the schism automatically converts various Catholic rulers into Orthodox and downgrades the entire Catholic religion into an Orthodox heresy. If the player restores the Roman Empire, he can use the new imperial reconquest casus belli. Sunset Invasion. On October 31, 2012, Crusader Kings II, Sunset Invasion was announced by Paradox as the next expansion. Proclaimed to be the first ever entirely fantasy add-on to the game, which is based on an alternate history scenario of the Aztecs sailing across the Atlantic Ocean and invading countries from Western Europe in the 13th century. The Aztecs are designed to function as a horde, similar to the Mongols that invade from Asia, and are purposed to provide a challenge to players in Western European territories in mid-late game, disembarking in Portugal, Spain, Mauritania, England, Ireland, Brittany, Iceland and France. The initial reaction regarding the Sunset Invasion DLC by a majority of the more vocal player base was overtly negative. One online article on the DLC announcement stated, "The initial reaction of a huge number of fans was indeed puzzling, since they seem to be extensively hostile towards this DLC. Only a bit later have the heads cooled off and people started talking rationally." The Republic. On December 8, 2012, The Republic was unveiled in an exclusive PC Gamer interview with Henrik Färjenreus, a project led from Paradox Development Studios. The DLC allows for most merchant republics, that of a coastal province, to be playable with additional new content in the way of graphical and interface differences while playing as a republic. The Republic was released on January 14, 2013. The Old Gods. On January 31, 2013, at the Paradox Convention 2013, Paradox's CEO, Frederick Wester, revealed the Old Gods as the next DLC for Crusader Kings II. The DLC allows for pagan and Zoroastrian characters to be played, and provides the option of an 867 AD start date. The DLC was released on May 28, 2013. Sons of Abraham. On October 22, 2013. Sons of Abraham was revealed over a live stream to be the next DLC for Crusader Kings II. The DLC adds new content for the two existing Abrahamic religions, while adding Judaism to the game. It also adds at least one holy order for each religion, general enhancements of holy orders, and the ability for a heresy to supplant the main religion. It was released on November 18, 2013. Rajas of India. On January 23, 2014, expansion Rajas of India was announced, which, as the name suggests, adds the Indian subcontinent to the game. This addition expands the game map by 50%, incorporating more than 300 additional provinces, as well as expanding areas of Abyssinia and Central Asia. The expansion also includes the religions Buddhism, Jainism and Hinduism, and the new units War Elephants and Camel Warriors. It was released on March 25, 2014. Charlemagne. On August 14, 2014, expansion Charlemagne was announced, which will introduce a start date of AD 769 and chart the rise of Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire. Features will include a special story event series for Charlemagne, an annual chronicle given in the style of a Saxon chronicle, custom kingdoms and empires, which will allow players to create new titles from lower-tier titles with customized flags and names. Dozens of new cultures. An innovative system for climate and seasonal transitions. And an overhaul of the Regency system. No release date for this expansion has been announced. Minor DLC. In addition to the gameplay expansions, Paradox have released a number of minor, cosmetic DLC packages. These add extra shields, portraits or music to the game, but do not change the gameplay in any way. Dynasty Shield DLC packs include additional sets of coats of arms for many families. Crusader Kings II, Dynasty Shields, Crusader Kings II, Dynasty Shields II, Crusader Kings II, Dynasty Shields III. The Portraits DLC packs expand the range of facial characteristics game characters can take, reflecting more ethnic diversity. Crusader Kings II, Mongol Faces, Crusader Kings II, African Portraits, Crusader Kings II, Russian Portraits, Crusader Kings II, Mediterranean Portraits, Crusader Kings II, Norse Portraits, Crusader Kings II, Celtic Portraits, Crusader Kings II, Turkish Portraits, Crusader Kings II, Persian Portraits. Music DLC packs expand the in-game soundtrack, with some music playing in association with certain in-game circumstances such as the cultural or religious affiliation of the player's character. Crusader Kings II, Songs of Albion, Crusader Kings II, Songs of Faith, Crusader Kings II, Songs of the Holy Land, Crusader Kings II, Songs of the Caliph, Crusader Kings II, Songs of Byzantium, Crusader Kings II, Songs of the Rus, Crusader Kings II, Songs of Prosperity, Crusader Kings II, Hymns to the Old Gods, Crusader Kings II, Hymns of Abraham, Crusader Kings II, Songs of Yuletide, Crusader Kings II, Songs of India. Allows the player to custom design their own character before beginning play. Crusader Kings II, Ruler Designer. Allows in-play modification of existing characters, dynasties, and holdings such as ability to name all children of your dynasty that were born in your court, modifying the coat of arms or name of a family, and adjusting non-heritable characteristics such as hairstyle. Can only be performed on characters, dynasties, or holdings the player's character has direct control of. Crusader Kings II, Customization Pack. Unit packs change the way certain units in the game look to reflect their cultural origin. Crusader Kings II, African Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Byzantine Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Russian Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Norse Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Celtic Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Warriors of Faith Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Military Orders Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Saxon Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Finno-Ugric Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Turkish Unit Pack, Crusader Kings II, Persian Unit Pack. Allows translating the player's Crusader Kings II game world into Europa Universalis 4. This creates a mod for EU4, where details and characteristics of a CK2 game world are adjusted to be representable within the game mechanics of EU4. Crusader Kings II, Europa Universalis 4 Save Game Converter. Mods. A total conversion mod based on George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire fantasy novels was released in May 2012. On December 17, 2013, a massive expansion adding the eastern continent of Essos was released. Another total conversion mod based on Bethesda Softworks' The Elder Scrolls video game series was in development since early July 2012 and received its first release on April 1, 2013. Entitled Elder Kings, the mod recreates the majority of known land masses of 9. Tamil includes all 9 provinces Akavir, Atmora, Karthnoki, Isroniat Parandonia and Yakuda are also included in the modification. All major races from the Elder Scrolls games are playable. Release and reception. A demo was released on February 4, 2012, which featured 4 playable characters over a 20-year span. A marketing campaign for the game featured light comedy videos on the concept of the 7 deadly sins. The game was met with generally positive reviews and has attained a Metascore of 82 at Metacritic. The Digital Fix said that the experience is immersive and stunning, and was impressed with the complexity of the underlying mechanics. A representative from Paradox confirmed that the game has sold really well. GameSpot reviewer Sean McInnes stated, through a complex system of diplomacy and backstabbing, Crusader Kings II makes every power struggle an engrossing one, and he lauded the gameplay while noting the lackluster tutorials. IGN summed up their review by saying an intense learning curve, but a unique strategy experience. IGN rated the gameplay and lasting appeal a 9/10. A reviewer for Rock, Paper, Shotgun stated that Crusader Kings II was probably the most human strategy game he ever played. Rob Zacny of PC Power Play, who gave the game a 7/10 score, called it a brilliant treatment of feudalism in terms of strategy and story, but also stated it requires major investment to overcome information overload. Kotaku named the game as one of their Game of the Year nominees. References. External links: Crusader Kings II at Paradox Interactive, Crusader Kings II Wiki.